There's a quiet kind of man who doesn't rush into relationships. He doesn't chase love on dating apps or spend his nights scrolling through endless profiles in search of someone to complete him. Instead, he walks his own path, steady, deliberate, and patient. Though society might label him cold, distant, or too independent, the truth runs far deeper. This man, often called the Sigma male, is not avoiding love, he's refining his definition of it. While others seek constant validation, he values solitude because it offers something most overlook: clarity. Psychologically, Sigma males are introspective by nature. Studies in behavioral psychology show that introverted men often require longer periods of solitude to recharge and reflect, which allows them to develop a strong sense of identity independent of others' opinions. This independence isn't arrogance, it's emotional intelligence in practice. Sigma males often stay single for years, not because they can't attract women, but because attraction alone isn't enough. They seek depth over distraction and connection over convenience. Modern dating culture, fueled by instant gratification and social media, often rewards superficial chemistry rather than genuine compatibility. But for a Sigma, relationships are about alignment of purpose, values, and peace. He understands that emotional stability is not found in constant company, but in mutual understanding. That's why he waits. His solitude isn't loneliness. It's a sacred space where he hones his goals, sharpens his focus, and protects his energy. Neuroscience research even supports this mindset. Solitude helps improve creativity, self-awareness, and long-term decision-making, all qualities that define the Sigma archetype. So when people ask, "Why are you still single?" he doesn't flinch. He knows that rushing into the wrong relationship can cost more than being alone ever will. It can drain his mission, dull his ambition, and disturb his peace. For him, love must be a partnership that elevates, not an attachment that confines. This perspective may seem rare in a world that equates solitude with sadness, but it's actually a mark of maturity and self-control. The Sigma male understands that patience isn't weakness, it's wisdom. And when he finally chooses someone, it won't be out of loneliness, but out of purpose. Because for a man who knows his worth, being single isn't a void to fill, it's a season of strength, growth, and preparation. Number one, they value peace over company. For a Sigma, peace isn't negotiable. He's learned through experience that emotional stability is not a sign of weakness, but a rare form of strength in a world constantly chasing noise and validation. Where others crave social approval or thrive on chaos, the Sigma male seeks stillness. It's not that he dislikes people, he simply values harmony more than popularity. To him, a calm mind is like gold, something worth guarding at all costs. He's aware that every argument, every drama-filled situation drains his mental energy. So he chooses silence over conflict and solitude over superficial company. This quiet preference is not isolation, it's strategy. Studies in psychology, particularly those on emotional intelligence, reveal that men who spend time alone develop better self-regulation, meaning they understand and control their emotions more effectively. Solitude also enhances introspection, the ability to reflect deeply on one's thoughts and actions. This is why Sigma males often seem composed, unbothered, and mentally sharp even when life throws challenges their way. They've trained their minds to respond, not react. Neuroscientists have found that quiet time can lower cortisol, the stress hormone, and even boost creative thinking by activating the brain's default mode network, the same area linked to imagination and problem solving. That's why A Sigma's peace is more than a preference. It's his mental armor. It's what allows him to navigate life's chaos without losing himself in it. He may appear detached to others, but in reality, he's deeply tuned in, just not to the noise around him, but to the frequency of his own mind. His peace is where his clarity, strength, and confidence are born. So while the world runs after applause and distractions, the Sigma stays rooted in calm, quietly evolving, silently winning, and reminding everyone that true power doesn't need to shout. It only needs to be still. Number 2, they refuse to fake interest. Sigma males don't pretend. They live by a quiet code of authenticity that separates them from the crowd. In a world where many chase approval, validation, and instant connection, the Sigma male walks a different path, one where silence speaks louder than flattery, and truth carries more weight than appearances. He understands that not every spark is real, and not every connection is meant to last. When the chemistry feels forced or the energy feels off, he simply withdraws. This isn't arrogance, it's self-respect. Sigma males value emotional alignment over social obligation. They would rather be alone in peace than surrounded by people who drain their spirit with superficial gestures or shallow talk. Studies in social psychology even back this behavior. Authentic individuals, those who stay true to their emotions and values, tend to have stronger self-esteem and lower stress levels. They experience a sense of inner congruence, a psychological harmony that comes from living honestly. That's exactly what defines the Sigma. His quietness is not disinterest, it's discernment. He observes before engaging, listens before responding, and connects only when his intuition signals truth. This tendency often confuses others, especially in a culture that prizes constant communication and performative connection. But Sigmas know that authenticity cannot be faked. It must be felt. Their love language, if you will, is truth, undiluted, unmasked, and unfiltered, whether in friendships or romantic relationships. They offer sincerity and expect it in return. They are not impressed by status, charm, or popularity. Instead, they look for emotional depth, honesty, and presence. And if these are missing, they have no problem walking away. That's what makes them so magnetic. The paradox of being both detached and deeply sincere. Their refusal to play social games gives them an aura of confidence that cannot be copied. Ironically, this very independence often attracts others who crave the stability and authenticity that Sigma males naturally embody. Yet even then, they remain selective. They know that energy is sacred and that giving it to the wrong person can drain one's purpose. So they protect their peace fiercely, knowing that solitude isn't a punishment but a sanctuary. In the end, Sigma males remind us of something timeless. Genuine connection isn't built through pretending to fit in. It's born when two honest souls recognize each other without masks. And that, for them, is worth waiting for. Number 3, they see relationships as responsibility, not entertainment. A Sigma doesn't view relationships as hobbies because he sees them through the lens of purpose and stewardship. To him, love isn't a pastime. It's a responsibility that requires both emotional maturity and clarity of direction. While many people enter relationships to fill a void or escape loneliness, a Sigma male understands that such intentions only lead to temporary comfort, not lasting connection. He values solitude because it sharpens his focus and emotional intelligence. Modern psychology calls this self-regulated independence, a state where a person's happiness is internally sourced rather than dependent on others. This trait makes him exceptionally stable He doesn't chase validation or attention because his sense of worth is already rooted within. When a Sigma chooses commitment, he treats it as stewardship, managing his time, energy, and emotions with precision and purpose. Every conversation, every gesture, every investment of his attention has meaning. He knows that relationships require more than attraction. They demand accountability, empathy, and emotional availability. Yet he's not afraid of responsibility. He simply refuses to shoulder it before he's ready. Research in developmental psychology supports this mindset, suggesting that individuals who delay relationships until achieving emotional self-awareness tend to build stronger, more enduring bonds. The Sigma's approach may seem distant or even cold, but in truth, it's deeply respectful. He would rather wait than waste someone's time. He knows half-hearted commitment drains both souls involved. It creates dependency, frustration, and unfulfilled potential. So instead of rushing, he refines himself, ensuring that when he finally chooses someone, he does so with full intent. This waiting period isn't loneliness, it's preparation. Like a craftsman sharpening his tools before beginning his masterpiece, the Sigma cultivates himself mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, so that when love arrives, he can offer his best. In today's fast-paced dating culture, this mindset is rare and often misunderstood. Yet it's exactly what makes Sigmas stand out. Their love is not impulsive, it's deliberate. They don't seek relationships to feel complete, but to complement the completeness they've already built within. To the Sigma, readiness is not about perfection. It's about alignment. When his purpose, peace, and principles are steady, only then does he open his heart. And when he does, his loyalty runs deep, his love remains steady, and his presence becomes a sanctuary rather than a storm. Number 4, they've outgrown the chase. Chasing for approval feels like losing power because it shifts control from within to the outside world. When a man constantly seeks validation, whether through social status, relationships, or recognition, he becomes a mirror of other people's opinions rather than a reflection of his true self. Sigma males understand this deeply. They operate from a mindset of internal validation, meaning their sense of worth doesn't depend on compliments, likes, or applause. Their satisfaction comes from personal growth, self-discipline, and achieving silent victories. This approach is backed by psychology. Research shows that people driven by intrinsic motivation, those who act according to internal values, experience higher levels of confidence, fulfillment, and emotional stability compared to those relying on external approval. Sigmas embody this principle effortlessly. They don't chase admiration because they know the one who chases rarely sets the frame. In social dynamics, the frame represents who defines the situation. The person who seeks approval hands over control. The one who stands grounded defines it. That's why Sigma males draw others in without trying. Their calm detachment creates an aura of strength that fascinates people. It's not arrogance, it's clarity. They know that true respect isn't earned by demanding attention, but by commanding it through quiet confidence. When a Sigma stands still, he attracts from power, not from need. This behavior aligns with the law of least effort, often discussed in both psychology and behavioral science. Those who appear self-assured and content naturally become magnetic. There's an energy shift when someone no longer begs to be seen because their stillness communicates certainty. In a world obsessed with validation, where social media rewards approval seeking, the Sigma male becomes the exception. His power lies in restraint, in knowing he doesn't have to prove his worth to anyone. People subconsciously sense this independence. It's what makes him mysterious and appealing. He understands that chasing approval is like pouring energy into a bottomless cup. It never fills. Instead, he invests that energy into building his craft, his peace, and his purpose. Over time, this creates real influence, not temporary attention. The Sigma male reminds us that confidence is quiet, insecurity is loud, and validation means nothing if it comes at the cost of your self-respect. Standing firm in who you are isn't just strength, it's freedom. Number 5, they're healing in private. Many Sigma men carry deep emotional scars from past relationships or betrayals, wounds that may not be visible but run profoundly deep. Unlike others who may rush into distraction to ease their pain, the Sigma chooses solitude. He withdraws, not out of fear or avoidance, but to face the storm within himself. This period of isolation is not weakness, it is self-preservation. Psychologically, introspection is one of the most powerful healing tools known to man. Studies in behavioral psychology show that individuals who practice reflective solitude, spending time understanding their emotions rather than escaping them, are more likely to experience long-term emotional growth and resilience. Sigma men embody this principle. When a bond breaks or trust is shattered, they turn inward to study the pattern. What went wrong, what lessons were hidden in the chaos, and how they can emerge stronger without losing their authenticity. During this healing season, a Sigma's life often looks minimalistic from the outside. There are fewer people, fewer conversations, and fewer distractions. But internally, a silent transformation unfolds. This phase resembles the Japanese concept of kintsugi, where broken pottery is mended with gold, making the cracks not something to hide, but to honor. Similarly, Sigma men mend their emotional cracks with wisdom, patience, and purpose. Neuroscientific research supports this process too. Solitude activates the brain's default mode network, the area responsible for self-reflection and meaning-making. It's here that Sigma men piece together their new identity, one built not on ego or validation, but on peace and understanding. As they heal, they develop a sharper sense of discernment. The next time someone enters their life, they no longer look at appearance or charm. They read energy, consistency, and emotional maturity. Betrayal may have broken their trust once, but it also sharpened their intuition. That's why Sigma men are often described as emotionally intelligent loners. They've been through enough storms to recognize who brings calm and who brings chaos. Their quiet seasons, though misunderstood by many, are sacred spaces where rebirth occurs. They emerge not bitter, but wiser, not closed off, but cautious. In a world obsessed with noise, the Sigma's silence is his sanctuary. Every scar becomes a story of survival, and every lesson a reminder that healing is not about forgetting the past, but mastering peace within it. Number 6, they wait for depth. For Sigma males, attraction without depth feels hollow, like admiring a painting but never stepping close enough to see the brushstrokes. They crave something far beyond physical beauty or fleeting chemistry. They long for intellectual intimacy. To them, a truly magnetic connection is one that stirs the mind as much as it does the heart. This comes from their natural inclination toward introspection and independence. Sigmas spend years analyzing the world, questioning norms, and refining their inner values. Because of this, shallow small talk or surface-level attraction rarely holds their attention. They want conversations that challenge their thinking, that push boundaries, that reveal how a person sees the world. Studies in psychology even support this behavior. Individuals who exhibit introverted, analytical traits often seek relationships where mutual growth and intellectual stimulation are present, rather than those based purely on emotional excitement. It's not that Sigmas are cold or detached. It's that they see love as a partnership of minds before it becomes a union of hearts. When a Sigma male meets someone, he pays close attention to how that person thinks, their curiosity, their emotional intelligence, their capacity to reflect. Flattery or charm without authenticity feels like noise to him. He is drawn to those who can sit in silence without awkwardness, who can debate an idea without taking offense, who understand that vulnerability isn't weakness, but strength. This search for depth often makes Sigmas appear distant or uninterested in relationships, but in reality, they're simply filtering out what doesn't align with their inner world. Until they find that rare intellectual and emotional balance, they channel their focus into purpose, their goals, visions, and personal evolution. For them, purpose is not a distraction from love, it's preparation for it. They believe that true connection can only happen when both people are whole within themselves, not seeking completion in another. In a world obsessed with instant gratification and external validation, Sigma males stand apart, content in solitude, until they find someone whose soul speaks the same language as their mind. And when that connection finally happens, it's not just attraction, it's recognition. A meeting of two self-aware beings who see not only each other's faces, but each other's depths. So if you see a Sigma male alone, don't mistake his silence for sadness. He's not avoiding love, he's honoring it. He knows that the right connection should feel like peace, not pressure. And when it arrives, he'll welcome it, not because he needs it, but because he's ready. Having said this, stay calm, stay grounded, and never apologize for your solitude. It's where your strength is being shaped.